Good day, everyone. My name is Zach Magno, together with my fellow presenters, and we are here today to discuss what? Of course, we are here today to discuss about the sampling technique or sampling method. In statistics, the sampling method or the sampling technique is the process of studying the population by gathering information and analyzing the data.
There are several different sampling techniques available, and they can be subdivided into two groups. We have two types of sampling method, the probability sampling and non-probability sampling. The probability sampling method utilizes some form of random selection. In this method, all the eligible individuals have a chance of selecting the sample from the whole sample space. On the other hand, non-probability sampling method is a technique in which the researcher selects the sample based on subjective judgment rather than the random selection.
Let us now discuss the type of probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Brian?
So, we're gonna start from simple random sampling. Simple random sampling select a smaller group from a larger group of a total of number of participants. It is one of simple systematic sampling methods to gain a random sample. Example, the names of 25 employees being chosen out of hat from a company of 250 employees of. That means a probability sampling techniques in which researchers randomly chosen participants from a population.
So what is stratified sampling? Well, it is a method of selecting a sample from a big group by dividing group into smaller. A sample is randomly chosen from each subgroup. Let's say you want to know what flavors ice cream people like in the city. Instead of just asking anyone, you divide the city into smaller groups based on their age. Kids, teens, adults, and senior. Then you randomly pick people from each group to ask about their favorite ice cream flavors.
In cluster sampling is a probability sampling method in which you divide a population into clusters, such as district or school, and then randomly select some of these clusters as your sample. For example, if a researcher wants to gain information about teacher mental health, it would be difficult to take a random sample of all teachers. Instead, they might use single-stage cluster sampling to randomly select a certain number of school districts across the country. Lastly, cluster sampling is a technique for drawing a representative sample from population divided into groups by researcher. While the collection of clusters is similar to one another, the teacher cluster is a subgroup that reflects the diversity of the entire population.
Our next topic is systematic sampling. The most common form of systematic sampling is an equipped probability method. This applies in particular when the sampled units are individuals, households, or corporations. It means systematic sampling is a type of sampling method that involves selecting a smaller group of participants from a larger group of participants.
Let us now discuss the type of non-probability sampling.
Before we proceed to our topic, I will give you some hints. Are you familiar with this and this? Exactly, it is convenience store. And our next topic, it's all about convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is the most common type of non-probability sampling, which focuses on gaining information from participants who are convenient for the researcher to access. For example, they may be recruited merely asking people who are present in the street, in a public building, or in a school.
Hello student! Before we proceed to our next topic, I will give you some hint. What is our next topic? Are you familiar with any of these two pictures? Yeah! You're right! It's volunteer sampling! Volunteer sampling is the one of the main type of non-probability sampling method.
a sampling technique where participants self-selected to become part of this one study because they volunteered to be part of one study. Voluntary sampling is exactly what it sounds like because it's voluntarily and non-mandatory. For example, a radio show asks to their listener into call to share their opinion about of the particular issue. In voluntary sampling, you don't have to choose anyone to be in the sample. It is the one who raised their hands in one interview or a survey.
So for our next topic, snowball sampling. Snowball sampling technique is a non-probability sampling technique that uses to study about the certain things and topics, such as interviewing the person about the specific status of a person. It starts with a 1 or 2 participants, and as the time goes by, the participants multiply and grow in number. For example, giving an interview to a scientist of how being scientists changed their life. Then asking the scientist if they know some particular person that has the same status as them so that they could get interviewed as well. This will be helpful for the interviewer to gather more information and faster since it was easier and organized.
And last but not the least, our next topic is quota sampling. So guys, what is quota sampling? Quota sampling is the one of the main type of non-probability sampling method, selecting a participant in a number proportionate to their numbers in a large population, no randomization. So student, what is the sample of quota sampling? So I give you example. An interview with me needed a 40 adult and 20 adolescents in order to study students watching television and their habits. So, the selection will be 20 adult men and 20 adult women, 10 adolescents girl and 10 adolescents boy. So, student, for conclusion, quota sampling must have a respondents that qualified in your research.
This technique or these methods can be used in your research. It will serve as your guide or techniques in selecting your own population or own respondents. So, I hope you guys learn and enjoy our discussion for today. Again, I'm Zach Magno.
And Brian Josmel Licinco.
My name is Alayami Ferrara.
My name is Christine Joy Aaron.
I'm Julia Claire Dairo.
And I am Azel Joy Aspentisho.
And we are the presenters from Grade 11 Galilei Group 3. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.